Today we're going to talk about how football players can gain weight. So when it comes to gaining weight, the first thing that you want to think about is staying in a calorie surplus. So what does a calorie surplus mean? So for example, when everybody works out, when you're just walking down the street, whatever the case may be, you're burning calories. If you're moving around, you're burning calories. So you want to try to track how many calories you're burning on a day-to-day basis, and then track how many calories you are consuming on a day-to-day basis. And a calorie surplus simply means you are consuming more calories than you are burning. So how can you track all of that, right? Because I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're a high school player, middle school player, you're sitting there thinking, well, how do I even know how many calories I'm burning? You need to invest in a calorie tracking tool. So if you go to Google, and if you post in the comments below, I could send you over the information to one, but you just search up simple, just a calorie tracker. How do I track how many calories I burn? And there'll be different tools that range anywhere from, I would say, like $40 to $100 that you could put on yourself while you work out, and it will track. Or maybe there's probably some watches out there, those are on a little bit more of the expensive side, but it'll track how many calories you're burning. Then you know, I just got to look on the back of an ingredient label, back of a food label, a high calorie food, to consume more than I should burn. Now, the calories that you're consuming should be based into three specific groups, and we're going to talk about these three specific groups throughout the video. But number one, it should be carbs, number two should be protein, and number three should be fats. And there are plenty of high calorie foods in those three categories that you can research, that you could add to your daily diet routine. Now, something that all athletes should be focused on when gaining weight is consuming enough protein, right? So protein is one of those things that's going to help your body recover faster, help your muscles recover faster, and ultimately help you get bigger, right? Because if you're a football player, you don't want to go on that like dirty bulk where you're just gaining a bunch of fat, you're slow, you're out of shape. You want to be at low as body fat percentage as possible, remain as athletic as possible, but also be as heavy as possible. So protein consumption is essential for that to build healthy muscle mass. Now, as far as protein goes, the good gauge to kind of see where you're at is you want to consume 1 to 1.5 grams of desired body weight per day. So what does that mean? Let's say I weigh 170 pounds and I want to get up to 180 pounds. Now you have to do this piece by piece. You're not going to be able to just go, oh, I'm 180, I want to weigh 225 and then just consume 225 a day. Like, you got to take it piece by piece with this strategy. But let's say I'm 160, want to get to 170. I want to consume 170 grams of protein per day because that's enough protein intake to help my muscles recover faster and help me put on more lean muscle mass. Now 170 grams may seem like a lot, right? That might seem like a lot of food that you have to eat, and that's true. And as an athlete, you're constantly on the go, you probably have a school schedule, so supplementing with a good protein powder or protein shake is something that's going to help you get to that daily intake dosage. So if you guys want to check out this A&G Labs Whey Protein Powder, this is my company. We started this company specifically for helping athletes in the off-season put on weight, put on size, and with athletic performance. So if you guys want to link to this protein powder, check out that very first link in the description below. If you use the promo code FIRST15, you will get 15% off your order. This protein powder, this is our salted caramel flavor. It's very, very easy on the stomach, and it's very, very easy to help you guys gain weight and put on size. So if you guys want this protein powder, again, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get to this next tip. Now, like we mentioned in the last tip, as a football player, you obviously want to be as athletic as possible, maintain your explosiveness, maintain your speed, be at low body fat percentage as possible while still gaining as much weight as possible. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that college, because I'm assuming you're trying to gain weight, to help you, like, why is gaining weight important? Number one, it's important to help you absorb hits, right? We play a very violent game in football. You're taking a lot of hits, you're taking a lot of contact, so coaches are worried, college coaches, high school coaches. If you're like rail skinny, you may not be able to take those kinds of hits, right? So that's why gaining weight is important. But college coaches, high school coaches are not worried about the exact number. They're worried about you just being big enough. So don't be so worried about the exact number. You still cannot neglect things in the weight room, things in the gym that are going to help you maintain speed and explosiveness while you're working out. You want to put on healthy muscle mass. So how can you do that and still maintain speed? So most important thing for muscle gain, let's talk muscle gain first. Let's say I'm doing an exercise like incline bench press, for example. You don't want to be lifting in that 3 to 6 rep range on incline bench press. Here's why. That's going to help you with your strength, and I totally get that. Football players want to be strong, so you can't neglect that completely. But the best rep range to stay in is pushing yourself to complete failure in an 8 to 12 rep range. That is the best rep range for hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is essentially muscle gain, so staying in that rep range is how you're going to get bigger size. Now, you can't neglect it because you're not going to be able to move up in weight if you don't test yourself by increasing your max, I guess you could say, right? Like, let's say flat bench, for example. Let's say your max on flat bench is like 225, right? Let's say it's 225. And let's say you could do 185 for like like let's say 8 reps. 185 is a good rep range to stay at. Now, you should be doing reps at 225 to eventually increase that 185 that you can do for 8, because you have to consistently keep pushing yourself to put on muscle mass. So that's kind of how it works in terms of lifting weights on those core exercises like squats, like back exercises, chest exercises, arm exercises to build muscle size. Now, like I said, you want to maintain fast and you want to stay explosive, so you cannot neglect explosive movements in the gym, like box jumps, like Olympic lifts. Those exercises aren't going to put on any size on you. It's going to burn calories, so you got to make sure that you're eating properly like we discussed, but those exercises will help you keep speed. You don't lose that fast twitch if you're doing those exercises and staying in that 3 to 6 rep range for those, because it's all about moving weight fast to increase fast twitch muscle fibers in your body. So all of those things will help you have the right type of gym routine to put on size. Now, when I was a player, something I saw the most benefit from, when I gained the most weight, was when I started taking creatine. Now, creatine is something that there's a lot of like negative press out there on creatine. It's not the most popular thing, I would say, with like youth athletes, and I totally understand, right? Your parents may be against creatine. You may have heard some bad things about creatine on the internet. Much like every other supplement out there, there's tons of good info and there's tons of bad info. But I'm going to tell you from my personal experience with creatine, and it's something that helped me gain, honestly, 20 pounds in the off season, because I always struggled to gain weight, right? I was always a guy, fast metabolism. I'd eat something, it would not stick with me. And I'm constantly moving around, burning calories, etc. And it was a real grind, and there's only so much food you can eat, there's only so much protein you can consume, and you're kind of plateaued, right? So how do you get past that? And creatine was something that helped me get past that, because I had never taken it before. I was a junior going into my senior year, and I want to say 165 pounds, and I was able to get up to 185 pounds by simply just adding creatine. I didn't do anything different, but I added creatine to my diet and, like, I guess you could say, my supplement routine. So what does creatine do? Because you don't just take creatine and then just get stronger right off the get, or you get stronger, but you don't just get bigger right off the get. What creatine does is it will increase the muscle hydration in your body, right? So you take creatine, internally your muscles feel, it pulls the water from your body, because your body's like 70-80% water. It pulls the water from your body, adds it to your muscles, which gives you more endurance, more strength in the gym. So it allows you to lift heavier, right? So remember, we were talking about lifting, we want to stay in that 8 to 12 rep range. I was doing more weight in that 8 to 12 rep range, which is what helped me put on that extra muscle mass. Now, again, with creatine, there's a lot of bad info out there saying that, like, oh, it's hard on your kidneys, oh, it's not good for you, you'll lose your hair. All that stuff is, the kidney thing is not even necessarily true if you take it properly. If you're taking tons of scoops every day, going over the 10-gram maximum dosage, yeah, it might be a little hard on your kidneys if you're not drinking water. So if you're drinking a gallon of water a day, if you're focused on taking the 5 to 10 gram range of the creatine supplement, you're going to see a big benefit of it. Now, if you're on the younger side of things, maybe I don't recommend it right away, right? But if you're in high school and you're willing to do whatever it takes to put on size, creatine is a great option for you. Now, on our supplement company, we also have a 100-serving creatine for a very cheap price. It's only like $40 for 100 servings, and if you use a 15% off disc code, use the promo code FIRST15. Check out the second link in the description below. That'll take you right to our creatine supplement. So if you want to take it, if you think it's a good option for you, it's 100 servings. It lasts you a really, really long time. So again, check out that second link in the description below, and we'd love to get you on our creatine supplement.